So let's look at how you can say no in a way that protects the relationship with a simple three-step formula based on nonviolence communication. I'm assuming a relatively equal power dynamic and also no imminent danger or boundary crossing, in which case you can just say whatever, right? Whatever comes out of your mouth, just no or stop or fuck off. Like whatever, right? This is not about that situation. Now let's look at the formula. So one thing we're not going to do is use the word no. The word no, most of us have heard that as a child and had it be the end of a conversation. The door was closed, no more talking about it, right? So that can trigger even subconsciously just something of like rejection or end of story. My needs are not going to be taken into account here. We don't need the word no. What we're going to do is we're going to use the formula of PAS, P-A-S. So P stands for preference, to share your preference. A stands for alternative, give an alternative if possible. This, you don't have to do this, it's extra helpful. And S stands for share your need. This is also just extra helpful. We're going to look at some examples. So what this formula comes down to is that no is not the end of a conversation. It's not a door slammed in someone's face. It's like a window that opens. It's an opportunity to get to know each other and to find something that works for everybody. That sounds more fun, right? Saying that, the goal is not to not ever hurt another human being. If that's your goal in life, good luck, right? That's really difficult. That's not going to happen. So the goal is just to connect as much as possible. And if you're standing on someone's broken toes, right, you're going to hurt someone no matter what you're saying. So we're going to keep that in mind. So let's look at some examples. So I'm going to share my screen here. So first situation, let's say your partner says, shall we go to my mom for Easter? And you don't want to do that. Now you might say, I don't really feel like that. It's sometimes a bit too much being there. That's fine. But let's make it a bit more connecting. So let's go with the PAS. So we're going to give a preference, our preference and an alternative. I might prefer to do something the two of us. Would it be okay to see your mom next month? That's the alternative. And in this case, I would add, can you share more what makes you want to go to her for Easter? Because if we hear more about that, it might be more easy to find a solution that, again, works for everybody. Another thing that's really helpful for that is to share your need. In this case, I think that would be very helpful. I need a bit of calm and quiet next weekend, so the needs will be yellow here. If you don't know about abstract needs, NVC needs, I have a free download. You can download a list of needs and you can just look at that to see what is your need. Okay, next one. A friend is saying, could you please feed my cat next Thursday and Friday? I'm sorry about the English spelling here. Could you please feed my cat next Thursday and Friday? You could say, sorry, I don't have time then. It's okay. It's fine, but let's make it a bit more connecting. Note, by the way, that in this column, there's a lot of don't, I don't have, yeah, which you won't see in this column. Preference, I would love to support you, and next week I'm really focused on that work deadline I mentioned. Here I added, I would love to support you. I think anytime someone seems to really need your support and you actually truly feel like you would love to support them in general, say that, add that. It will just warm and soften the message. Focus on work deadline I mentioned. Is it okay if I jump in another time again? Alternative. Now here you can see the alternative can be, it doesn't have to be super concrete. In this case, it might be tempting to say, is it okay if I do it next time? But I don't know if I'm available next time, right? I don't want to promise anything that I can't keep and put myself in a difficult spot next time. So I'm just saying what I can intend right now. Adding my need, I'm feeling super stressed and I'm trying to protect my energy and my sanity a bit. Protecting my energy and sanity is the need here. If I want to add a bit more. Let's say a kid is saying, can I have another candy? I could say, no, you've had enough candy. After which we're going to possibly get like a tantrum or something like that. Instead, I could say, tomorrow you can have one again. For now, you could have a piece of fruit. I can make you a fruit face. I added this thing of the fruit face on purpose because I think with kids, I mean, I worked as a nanny when I was learning NVC, and I've used this so many times. Come up with an alternative that is a little bit creative, or maybe asks for their creativity. Like, for example, I also one day had kids jumping on the couch. They were not allowed to jump on the couch by the parents. So I said, "Oh, let's build a trampoline outside. Let's go jump there." Did we have a trampoline or anything to build a trampoline? No, we did not. But you don't need that, right? You just need your fantasy. And they came up with all sorts of things like leaves that were like, how do you say that? Flexible or something like that. So you can really do this with kids as well. They're very good at coming up with alternatives as well. So you can also say, as an alternative, shall we brainstorm about something else, right? That can be the alternative. Let's find an alternative together. Here, I don't think I would include the need. I don't think it helps a lot. I mean, I think the need here could be health, right? Oftentimes with kids, their needs are sort of like similar, or their needs and well-being is sort of similar to my needs and well-being. I don't know if they're very interested in that at that point, but you could explain what sugar does to the body to give them some sort of understanding, but maybe not at the moment that you're delivering your no, right? I would just focus on an alternative and maybe have a conversation at some point where you share the need. Okay, colleague, can I have your I'm so excited about this. Colleague, can I have your Instagram? And you're like, no, I don't want to give my Instagram to this specific person, but I do like them. I do want to keep the relationship well. You could say, sure, I'll send it to you later, and then never sending it. Not super connecting. Instead, you could say, I prefer to keep that one to myself, but we can connect on LinkedIn though. Maybe you're saying like, what, I'm already connected on LinkedIn with this person. It's fine. You don't have to give an alternative. Okay. If you want to share more, if this is a person that's kind of close to you, you could say, I keep my Instagram private and only for a handful of friends and family. I like to have the freedom to not think so much about what I post, to not be so self-conscious and just post whatever I think of. Most people would understand that, right? And if they don't, it might be their broken toes that you're standing on, that you're stepping on. Let's say you have a relatively new partner, and they're saying, so when would you like to move in together? And you're not ready. So you might say, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm ready. It's fine, but let's make it more connecting. I'm super happy with how things are going with us. I think it's nice to give a little reassurance. If that's true, right? Only give it if it's true. And for me to be fully ready to move in with someone, I need quite some time. Actually, that's also a need. I'm realizing that now. We can make that yellow. Um, Alternative. How would it be to have a bit longer talk to see what needs are met for you by moving in and see whether we could support those in a different way? Do you see what I'm doing here? It might seem a bit daunting to find an alternative to moving in together, but oftentimes the alternative is just to listen to someone, to listen to why this thing is important for them. And sometimes some creativity will bubble up then. I could also here highly recommend sharing your need. That's not a luxury in this case. And you could also, whenever, by the way, you don't know your need in the moment, which is why I have it as an optional thing. Oftentimes we can think of our preference and say that in the moment, but the need requires a bit more time sometimes. Highly recommended here. So I want to actually protect our relationship by ensuring we go at a pace that I can handle properly, right? So emphasizing that actually what I'm doing is trying to protect the relationship. It's not a no to the relationship. It's quite the opposite, actually. Okay, last one is a little bit alternative. Here's a family member that's asking you, and you're single, how's your love life? And you're like, oh no, I don't want to answer that question. You could go for just on automatic, saying, oh, the usual dating is really hard, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a bit disempowering sometimes. I don't know. I I don't know if I feel that way myself, but I think it can be it can be a bit disempowering if you feel like you're just maybe saying what you think they want to hear, if you know what I mean. So you could just instead of Saying your preference here, I would kind of say it with a little, well, just going to give the example. I don't know how to explain this. You could just say, well, what do you want to know? Right? Or you could say, it's absolutely wild, but I can't go into the details because, our phones are listening. Right? So you just make kind of like an unserious response. So they're distracted kind of by that. I mean, you can totally say, I don't feel like answering that. That's totally fine as well, right? This is could be going into boundary territory, which everything I talked about today, those are not boundaries. I'm actually hosting an event that is about saying no and boundaries. I'll mention it more at the end, but these are preferences, right? That we talk about. So alternative, I'm like out of breath. Okay, I do want to tell you all about my new hobby. I made this awesome vertical garden. Can I show you the pictures? So alternative is just to introduce a new topic. Okay. The need here, I think, could be dignity or inner power, maybe self-empowerment, something like that. Being true to yourself. I don't think I would express that unless, again, I really want to have a serious talk with this person because they keep on asking me questions that trigger some discomfort in me, right? Then I could have a conversation about that. So, like I said, maybe you've noticed that here there's a lot of negation. I'm not sure. No, I don't have time. And here we're just giving the preference, the alternative, and the need. So, two more notes to make the experience even more smooth. The first one is I can include my awareness that receiving a no can be disappointing or painful. In the case of my kid who doesn't get the candy, I could say, I could empathize with that, right? I could just say, like, oh, you really wanted the candy, huh? Right? So, just empathizing with, oh, it's kind of disappointing, right? Or painful even to hear. And secondly, sort of related to this, you want to prepare yourself for that type of response and make sure that they don't have to hold your nervousness or guilt or shame about potentially triggering an unpleasant feeling in the other person. So, what I mean is that you've just delivered your no now, but now maybe you're wanting reassurance that they still think that you're an okay person. So you're not only giving them a no, but you're also requesting for them to take care of you, to do the emotional labor. Ideally, I would say, like, take care of that separately. Again, this is something we're going to do in the live event that I'm hosting. It's free, by the way, to look at what are our own blocks to saying no, right? And to remove those, because no matter how well you phrase it, all these formulas are super, super helpful. But hopefully, I mean, I find it helpful. But if you secretly feel guilty, you might start putting that guilt on the other person, and that will make it uncomfortable. They will feel sort of like a heaviness around it. And so, working on that beforehand really helps for them to receive a bit more lightness as well. And what you'll notice, lastly, is that when you're getting better at saying no, you will be judging people's requests less because you're giving yourself the choice to say no, right? If you have a choice, it really doesn't matter. I mean, some requests are inappropriate, putting that aside, but like anything else than that, you'll never think someone is too much for asking something because you feel free to say no. And that will also help you to make requests more easily because you start trusting that people actually can say no and that it's their responsibility to do so. If you're wondering how to say no in your situation, please put your example below the video. I might make a video based on your examples. And like I said, I'm hosting a live event about how to say no and how to set boundaries in a way that, again, protects your relationships. And we're going to go more into the blocks to saying no, the guilt and the fear that might come up with that. And I'm going to work with one or two people on their real life examples. And I'm very excited to see you there. And I'd love to see you next time. Ciao.